Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. We have a question came into the website, and this one is from Eileen Grimaldi, and it's really a good question because of all the dailies we've done, and it's well over 1,000 now since I've been doing these. I don't think I've had a question like this very often, and yet you'd think it's one that would be asked a lot more often, and that is about the grip. So let's see if we can't get a grip on things here. Eileen asks, I thought one reason for the interlocking and overlapping grip was to help the wrist be more flexible, and she has flexible underlined. Something that wasn't supposed to happen in the Surge swing, or am I wrong? Okay, Eileen, I guess I could say that since I say that golf is a game of angles, the fewer the better, and I described the in my case left wrist, the forward wrist, as the number one domino, meaning that there is no wrist cock at all in the swing. I guess we'll have to say that concept of we use interlock or overlap to allow the wrist to be more flexible is incorrect. I mean, I can interlock and hit a good shot and keep my wrist firm and not flexible, because flexible, again, that's the number one domino. That's a great way to start hurting your wrists. So I'm gonna interlock, which is you take your pinky of your bottom hand and stick it inside the pointer finger of your upper hand. In my case, pinky's the right hand inside the left pointer finger, and interlock and hit it. And I have a hard time with that grip, because normally if I hit a good shot, especially if I want to for me, a lot of times when I want to hit a fade, especially with a driver, I interlock. All right, and interlock has been played by a lot of great players. Jack Nicklaus, Tom Kite, and I believe Tiger Woods is an interlocker. And I think if anything, the interlocker tends to get you, maybe it's the hands a quick closer together, the right thumb a little bit higher onto the left thumb, in my case the right hand being a lower hand, to be able to stand there and keep it a lot more together and tight. And so then what the overlap would do, I've overlapped all my life, and that's again where the pinky, instead of going in between the finger, it lays on top of the finger in the groove between the pointer finger and your middle finger. It lays on top of there. And again, the thing about that grip is the top hand's thumb, when you crip your fingers and pucker your thumb, that gap in there sits right on top of the thumb. So there's no problem making sure that you got a good united hands, so that and you know that if you've been on the website, I believe that grip pressure should be equal in both hands, and then we try to swing both hands. In everything we do, both hands and arms try to go the same speed, because it's one club, two hands. If one hand is like they've always told you, don't use your bottom hand. For righties would be right hand, left-handers would be left hands. Don't use that, because that's a bad hand. So you're trying to swing, do it all with one hand. Well, the other hand, if it's on the club, it's just dead weight. It's getting away. It's not doing anything. It's just a nuisance. It's a hindrance. It's messing things up. If it's on that hand, it better be involved. And so I believe we squeeze up with the grip pressure in our fingers, equal grip pressure in both hands, and I try to swing them both with equal speed, and just hit some good solid golf shots. At least here you can really, many times when I hit the net back there and the top in front of it with the bullseye, I get a really good pop. Sometimes I hit a lot of good shots, but sometimes the wind blows the top up, the bullseye up, and it sounds like a terrible golf shot because you don't hit a big pop. So that's the secret to the Backyard Driving Range here, as far as having that really good pop or bang when I hit the ball. So lastly, we have the 10-finger grip. Now, many times they've said 10-finger grips are better because of if your hands aren't too strong or whatever, or if you really want to get, it tends to give you maybe a little bit more wrist action through the ball. Wrist action means release through the ball, and so some people like that. There's never been too many golfers on the PGA Tour doing that. I know some pros like to start ladies off with an overlap grip, because it helps them get a little bit more active with their hands, which gives them a little bit more clubhead speed and a release through impact. But again, the same thing is here. I'm not going to have any wrist cock or wrist break with my hands. I'm going to try to keep them as firm as I can both ways. As you can see, I got a bullseye there. And so, but I just feel at least some type of connection and unification of them keeps them closer together, and a little bit more of the bottom hand up on top of that thumb on the left hand is going to give us much better control. So the key, at least in the search swing, is good wrist action is no wrist action. We do not bend, break, hinge, set, or cock our wrist, because if you do, you're changing a very important angle in your wrist and actually putting a lot of stress on it at certain points in the swing. And if you're especially letting that wrist change at the top, and most people, they say they want a flat wrist, but they don't know why they can't keep it flat. Well, the wrist has very little range of motion vertically up and down. It's mostly horizontally. And so if you come up here and you come up to the top and you allow your wrist to cock, or cup as they say, look what happens. It also tears the hands open up here. So the only way you can keep your wrist flat is you have to start it flat and keep it flat all the way, and it'll end up being flat at impact. See, it's flat here, it's up there. Now at the top of here, my right wrist is cupped a little, all right? But when it comes back down to impact and they both straighten out, they're both straight. And then watch what's going to happen on this side. As I go through this, still relatively straight to there, but as I come up to here, guess what happens? The right wrist stays flat, and this one starts to cup. So the right wrist is cupped back here once I come up and I'm transitioning, and then the left wrist is cupped on this side. For every action is a reaction. So we start flat, we try to keep it flat, and so in the backswing all the way up to the top, the left arm I call the string from the top, from the takeaway, the impact, but by the time they get to impact, they're both dead straight, and then the back or the trailing arm, the right arm for a right-hander, becomes the string in the forward swing, swinging up to the top, and where it'll stay straight all the way. And the whole key is keep those wrists firm, keep the wrists flat, and you start hitting really good shots. Again, that didn't sound like much because the wind just kind of puffed up the target, and I didn't hit the target. But when you hit the target, boy, they really sound good. All right, so that's it for the search today, talking about grips. Grips are important, but the biggest thing with the grip is whatever one makes you feel good, whether it be the interlock, overlap, or the 10-finger. I think the interlock and the overlap are the two to stay with, whichever one you like best. But equal grip pressure, equal firmness, and try to have equal lift and equal speed of the swing, and you're going to find that you'll be hitting it more solid and straight without any wrist cock or wrist break, because we have to keep that left wrist, the number one domino, relatively flat throughout the swing, in the backswing and forward swing. And then in the forward swing, the right wrist gets vertical. Okay? So with all of that, choose your grip, keep the wrist firm, and good consistent grip pressure, and you'll be hitting bullseyes too. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all soon.